Well, I did it again. Went to the pawn shop, came home with a guitar. That seems to be a recurring theme on this channel and with me in general. But I'd say that the pawn shop has served me pretty well, wouldn't you? If you look around. Um, so, what is it? This is a Sawtooth Strat-Style guitar. It's got a maple fingerboard, 3 single coils. This is a left-handed model. I've never owned a left-handed model, and I always wanted to, and string it like a right-handed guitar, because it'll make it feel and sound just slightly different, because your bridge pickup is going to be slanted the opposite direction as it usually would be, and your string tension is going to be slightly different. You're going to have a longer string for your low E, and a shorter string for your high E, and obviously that steps itself all the way down. Got 3 controls, 5-way switch. It's a left-handed Strat, sort of. So I found it at my local pawn shop. It's been there for almost exactly 12 months. So I went in there today, made my move, walked out with this guitar for $20. I already know it's worth $20, so value proposition question has been answered already, because even if everything in this guitar is broken, it's worth $20, in my opinion, just for the neck alone. I will say that it weighs absolutely nothing. I mean, it probably weighs 5 pounds, maybe a little more. So I think we know what the guitar is going to be made of. I will say that the finish is very nice. Try to get a close-up of it. It's very nice, sparkly red color. Candy apple red is what they call it. You have your standard import-style bridge here. Import-style saddles. Pickups. Pretty standard here. I don't think the pole pieces are staggered, but you wouldn't expect them to be at this price point. By the way, this guitar on Amazon is between $150 and $250. So that's what it would cost normally. We'll get to that value proposition at the end after we mess with it a little bit. It does come with a 3-ply pearloid pickguard. That's kind of nice. If we go up to the headstock here, you can see Sawtooth. It's got this truss rod cover. And it has a Gibson-style nut, which is kind of interesting. And this truss rod cover looks like the style that you would see on something like a Kramer. Dean uses those too. Let's flip it around. There's your tuners, no-name tuners, as you would expect. You can see here where the headstock is a separate piece of wood from the rest of the neck. You can actually kind of feel that. No skunk stripe going on here. Here's your neck plate. And there's your back plate. As far as thickness, it appears to be full thickness. Obviously it's not full weight, but it appears to be full thickness. So if you wanted to put a really big tremolo block in this guitar, it would fit. But like I said, it weighs absolutely nothing. Now, as far as the condition of this specific guitar and why I got it for $20, well, the first reason is it's been hanging in the shop forever. Second reason, it's a left-handed model, and there just isn't a big market for left-handed guitars most places. Third, it doesn't work. So, look at this. Uh-oh. It's just loose in there. Does not do anything. These turn and are pretty solid, but this is broken. Switch works. So I did plug it in there to kind of make my case, and guess what? It doesn't work at all. No volume at all. It doesn't do anything. Any of the positions, any of this turning of these knobs, absolutely nothing happens. So we're gonna have to get under the hood and figure out what's going on. Before we do that though, I do want to show you the fretwork's actually pretty good on this guitar. It's better than a Squire Bullet, not as good as a Squire Affinity. There's a little bit of roughness going on, but not enough that it's going to hurt you. That's on either side. So whether you are a lefty and are going to play this properly, or whether you're like me and you're going to replace the nut, which we'll do in a minute, and string it properly, feels pretty good. This is one of those guitars, though, that has a maple neck and a maple fingerboard, and it's separate. So this neck is actually, from what I can tell, 3 pieces. You've got your main neck part, your fingerboard is laid on top of it with a separate piece of maple, and then your headstock is laid on top of that with a 3rd piece of maple. So 3-piece neck and likely a plywood, it almost feels like balsa wood, I know it isn't, body. So let's see, let's get under the hood and decide, is it going to be worth fixing, or should we take the neck off of this and put it on something else? I don't know. Either way, $20 was a good deal. Let's get these very disgusting strings off and take off the pickguard. Haven't got the strings off yet, but I did get the back plate off, and I wanted to show you back here. So the ground wire is really long. Weird, but okay, not a deal killer. It does look like a factory solder, for whatever that's worth, with this guitar. And then if you look here, you can see it's multiple layers of whatever this wood is. And it is kind of painted in here, so it's not unfinished by any means. So just wanted to give you a good look of what it looks like in here. Hopefully we can see more of the consistency and makeup of what this wood is once we get the pickguard off. But I'm going to finish taking the strings off now. I just wanted to give you this shot. Got all the screws off, so let's pull the pickguard off and see what's going on. So this fretboard does have an extra couple frets on it, so it hangs over. So gotta kind of massage it out. There we go. All right. This is where that extra long ground wire is going to help. It's going to help us rotate it out. Okay, what do we got here? So we've got 3 ceramic bar magnet pickups. We've got an import switch, and we've got 3 pots. It doesn't appear that there's anything broken in here. So I'm not sure why we don't have any sound. Let's see. Well, so there you go. That's what it looks like inside. You got 2 caps here on these 2 pots. I guess we should take the jack plate off and see if there's anything in there that's causing us not to have sound. Hard to see, but it's fine. There's nothing wrong with the jack plate. Everything's soldered there properly. Yeah, I'm kind of at a loss for what's causing our problems here. See, these 2 are soldered together. This is soldered here. These 2 are soldered here. This is soldered here for a ground going to this pot. And it all looks factory. It doesn't look like anybody came in here and did anything with it. So I'm wondering if maybe the pot just went bad. One of these pots just went completely bad and has to be totally rewired. I'm gonna pop this cap off, or the knob off here. There we go. See if it even turns. Okay, so it does turn. So that's good. It does turn. These are all turned up all the way. All right, so it didn't work at the shop, but I am gonna go ahead now and see with this turned if yeah, that's weird. See if we can get it to work. So I'm gonna grab a cable real quick. So you can't really see it, but I do have the it's wireless. I have my wireless plugged into this amp over here, and I've got all the knobs turned up all the way, but I'm not hearing anything. So look at this. So all the knobs are turned up, right? Oh, oh. There, I've got something. It's all about troubleshooting. All right, let's pull this up and see what's going on under here that's causing that problem. Oh, you know what it is? You guess? So when this pot is turned a certain way, let me adjust it so you can see. So as you can see, we've got a bare ground wire, right? But we've also got a couple of other wires in its path. And it appears that when it's being turned a certain way, those wires are touching and basically shorting out the whole circuit. See that? See how that loose wire is touching other stuff? So basically, as long as this is tightened down properly, no rewiring is going to be required. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it the right way, and then I'm going to tighten the nut down so that it does not short itself out. Alrighty, I got it on there correctly, and now it works. Ta-da! So that part's done. So I originally picked this guitar up in the first place because my Telecaster needs a new neck, and I really wanted to, I don't know, get another neck for it. On Amazon, you can't really get one cheaper than $60 to $70, and I was on the fence about it. I thought, well, maybe I should order it. Then I saw this whole guitar, and I was like, hey, I can just buy a whole guitar, cheap guitar, use the neck, and put it on my Telecaster, and then, you know, I'll be done. But because I love you guys, I'm willing to waste $6 to $7 on a pack of strings to string this thing up and see how it sounds, make this a review of this guitar. So there's a couple things we need to do. The first thing we need to do is we need to intonate this bridge. Well, actually, that's the second thing. First thing we need to do is the nut. So the nut is, this is a left-handed guitar, so it's got the low E string up here and the high E string up here. Now, if you're left-handed, that's what you want, obviously, but I don't play left-handed, I play right-handed. So, nut needs to be replaced. In our video about the Les Paul Studio, we took off a nut. It's the same size, 42 millimeters. So I'm gonna install this nut on this guitar, and I think I'm gonna change the truss rod cover because I found that this truss rod cover that we took off of our Kramer Beretta actually fits. I know it's not a Kramer Beretta, but I don't know, it's a funny, stupid little thing that we can do to make it just ridiculous, right? And this is a cheap guitar, we might as well do that. So, those are the two things we need to do. Replace the nut, and fix the intonation down here, because these are all intonated for a left-handed guitar. We're gonna have to adjust those. Obviously, we're probably gonna have to adjust the string height as well. So, first let's get the pickguard back on, and then let's see about getting the nut off. We've done this before. For good measure, I'm going to show you again. So you basically get a piece of wood, or I'm using this. This is a filing block, and then I've got a towel to protect the fingerboard. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take it like this, kind of hold it down, and take a rubber mallet and just very lightly tap it. That's it. It's out. So now we're going to grab our other one, which is laying right here. Just kind of test fit it. And you can see there's like a, you may not be able to see this, but there's a layer of glue here that I'm going to have to clean off before this will fit. But this is going to fit. It is the right length. So I'm going to clean that up now. Okay, so I kind of use a flathead screwdriver and just kind of got the gunk out of here, the glue residue. And then on the old nut, there was a bunch of wood on the bottom, so I got rid of that too. And as you can see, now it fits on there pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that in now. All right, again, we've done this before, but I'm just using an old guitar string here. I've got some wood glue. I'm gonna get a little tiny bit of that on the end of the string. And then I'm just gonna put some of it here in the nut slot, just a little bit. I'm using it kind of like a paintbrush, so a little gob there, a little gob there. You don't want to put too much. You really just want to put just enough that it stays. Apply some pressure here. Now, when you put strings on it, obviously the strings are going to hold it down. But what you also want is you don't want it to fall off when you take the strings off, right? So that's why we do it like this. So I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes before we continue. While that's drying, we can go ahead and put the truss rod cover back on. So I have this Kramer Beretta special truss rod cover. It's funny that it fits on here. We replaced ours with the 5150 truss rod cover. So we're just going to go ahead and screw this in. Also, the truss rod cover will help hold the nut in too. So there's the added bonus of that. I'm going to screw the other two screws down now. So now we need a starting point for the intonation. This is a very unscientific way of doing it, but to get a good start, I have a bridge that I took off of another Squire that was intonated properly, Squire Strat. So same scale length. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but what I'm going to do is move the saddles using these screws so that they match this, and I think that'll be a good starting point, and then we can intonate it more exactly after we get the strings on it. So I got it pretty close to where this one was, so that'll be a good starting point. We can intonate it later, like I said. So now, I want to look at the string height. Now, that's going to be hard to do, obviously, without having a string on here. But if you look, they're jacked up pretty high. So I think I'm going to lower them all a little bit, and then we can raise them later. Got the string height set, sort of. Best of my estimation, anyway. There we go. Only a couple more things to do. First, I'm gonna go up on these tuners. They're all really loose, so I'm gonna tighten the nuts, and then I'm gonna tighten the screws here on the side. And then I'm going to moisturize and kind of clean off this fingerboard. It's pretty dry. Okay, I cleaned and moisturized the neck, and I tightened the tuners. Let's go ahead and put some strings. Oh, I also changed the knobs, because the knobs that came with they were cheap and all faded. Looked like I got left in a lake or something. And I had to put a piece of tape here because this pickup cover is coming off. I mean, I could open it and fix it, but whatever. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Who cares? So yeah, I'm gonna string it up now. All strung up and ready to go. I've left it sitting like this for a little while to help the nut set. And as you can see, it's in there pretty good. So let's plug it in and see how it sounds. All right, so here it is. Got it all strung up. Start with the neck and we'll go from there. On a clean setting with a little bit of reverb. Sounds like a Strat. Let's put it down on the bridge. It sounds like a Strat. Again, let's add a little bit of like a tube screamer kind of effect here. There, this should be a bit hotter. So let's put it on the neck again, and something a little bit hotter. Sounds pretty good. Bridge. That sounds pretty cool. Let's put it on something with a bit more overdrive and some delay. All right. Pretty good. I like that. Down to the bridge again. How did I think about it? Or what did I think about it? For 20 bucks, it's pretty good. It doesn't blow me away. It doesn't make me think that these are like a hidden gem, that they're as good as a Fender, for example. The pickups leave a bit to be desired. Now, I have no doubt that with better pickups, that this guitar would be really good. I think a lot of that sound is going to be dependent on your amp and your pickups. Now, there's an argument to be made of, well, if your amp sucks, every guitar you play through, it's going to suck. And that is true. The amp that we use today, we've used in a lot of our demos in the past on a lot of the guitars that we've reviewed on this channel. And the ones that sounded really good, well, those were with this amp. This one sounded, it sounded okay, you know? Like I said, it didn't blow me away or anything. And really, the only thing that would affect the sound that much, in my opinion, is going to be the pickups. I would say that with some better pickups, is it worth upgrading this guitar if you already have it? Oh yeah. Is it worth buying this guitar to upgrade? Only if you can get a really good deal on it. Like if you find it for less than 50 bucks, probably worth it. I mean, a guitar that is complete with all of its parts is worth at least, you know, $80 to $90 minimum, no matter what it is, no matter what shape it's in. So, you know, that's kind of how I feel about it. It doesn't blow me away. It's kind of weird because when we do these kind of things at the end of reviews, it's usually, do I recommend it? How amazing was it? Or how awful was it? And this is so squarely between amazing and awful that there's no emotion here, really. It's not so amazing that it blows me away. It's not like the value killer like the Kramer Beretta was. It just isn't really all that special. I would say that it's not even as good as a Bullet Strat. And I hate to say that, I really do. Because the pickups in the Bullet Strat are a lot better than the pickups in this thing. Now, everything else about it is worse. The body is thinner, the body is lighter, the neck is worse, the fretwork is worse, you know, all that. But oh man, it's really tough here. It's really tough here. I'm going to stand by what I said before, and that is if you already have this guitar, and I think it's worth upgrading if you already have it, and I think it's worth buying if you can get a really good deal on it. You see it at a pawn shop, see it on Marketplace, see it on Craigslist, have a friend that wants to sell you one. If you can get a good deal on it, less than 50 bucks or so, I say go for it. I would not buy this new. I wouldn't. I will have a link if you really love this guitar and really want to buy it. You can use that link, but I'm telling you not to use it. It's really not worth it. One other thing that I want to say, and this is really, it makes me appreciate Jimi Hendrix a lot more and other guitarists like him. So this is a left-handed model, right, that I was playing right-handed. And while I was playing it, you might have noticed my arm kind of rests right here across these knobs. So you kind of have to like actively avoid hitting and turning the knobs while you're playing. And also the jack. So if you got a cable, you could probably like wrap it around and then it gets out of your way. But if you're using a little wireless thing like this, like I do, you know, that's going to get in your way. There's really no good place to put this. No matter which way I turn it, it's in the way of my arm. So I was having to pick the strings in a place that I normally wouldn't pick them. So I was missing notes, and it made me play worse. Now, that's not a limitation of this guitar, but that's what happens when you play a guitar that was meant to be left-handed when you play it right-handed. We also did the sound demo sitting down because right here, your little strap button is on the bottom instead of on the top. And, you know, the only reason that I would move this is if I were intending to gig this guitar / do videos with it. And I don't think I'm going to, honestly. If I do use this guitar for anything, it's going to be if I want to get a very specific sound because the string here is slinkier, which it is, I will say, because it's left-handed. You know, basically you achieve the same thing, though, if you get a reverse headstock on a normal body. Like, if I put this on a normal Strat body, I'd achieve the same thing. But yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to keep it at this point, to be honest with you guys. I might take the neck off and put it on something else. I mentioned Telecaster earlier. I've also got Randy Rhoads Flying V. We did a video about it, actually. It's the Sky guitar. That needs a new neck. So, you know, it was worth it for the neck alone. The body, I don't know if it's really going to be usable for me, but yeah, there it is. Sorry for the lukewarm reaction and the lukewarm conclusion, but, you know, that's just what happens sometimes. Not everything on this channel is going to be a banger. Not everything's going to be a boom, and this is kind of a bust, really. I hate to say it, but it kind of is. If you have this guitar, though, and you watched this video for purchase confirmation or something, it can be saved, okay? Don't get buyer's remorse if you bought this and you can't return it and you're watching this video and you're like, oh my god, he hates it. No, it's alright. It's okay. It's usable. It'll be okay. You could replace the pickups. You don't have to. It still sounds okay. It doesn't sound bad, and that's what's important. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. If you like this video, please subscribe and please like the video. Leave a comment, ask a question. I'm happy to talk to you if you want. Also, I've got links in the description below for Fender Shop if you want to buy anything from them. I have a link for Fender Play if you want to get 14 days of free lessons. I'm going to have a link in the description for this guitar if you want to buy it. Please don't, but I'll have a link in case you insist on buying it. And make sure you follow us on social media. Thanks again. See you next time. Keep on rocking.